Hello, a warm welcome to the writing test. I hope you enjoy writing, and if you don't, I'll help you get used to it because it is a very interesting area. The greatest writers of the world have always articulated the same message that the more you write, the more you understand yourself. And to grow in life, it's very necessary to know yourself as a person. This IELTS writing test helps us do that to some extent as well. If you look at it from an academic angle, then yes, you will find it very theoretical, but it has some other sides to it as well. And I recommend that you take it as an overall growth trigger, not just as a test. Help, use its support for developing yourself, for improving yourself, not just to clear the test. And this is a wonderful tool. Writing is always helpful and it will help you throughout your careers. So now let's get started. I have a few things to discuss with you. I'll explain the writing test to you, what it is, how it works, and how do you get the best score, how do you avoid making mistakes. I'll give you a brief introduction that will help you get started with the test. So, before we delve into the technicalities of writing, it's good to understand the structure of the test. The writing test is divided into two parts, task 1 and task 2. If you're appearing for the academic one, task 1 will be a graph or a map or a process diagram that you will be summarizing in your own words. Now, that summary should be in around 170 to 180 words, and that's it. The second task is an essay, which is common for both academic and general. Now, that essay has a few types, around 6 types of questions, including agree, disagree, advantage, disadvantage, discuss both views and give your own opinion. So, these are a few types, and I'll share details about them when we discuss the second IELTS task 2. Right now, I'm just giving you an overview, right? So, this is about academic task 1 and writing task 2. In the general, only the task 1 is different, where you are supposed to write a letter. That letter can be informal, semi-formal, or formal. And when I appeared for the test, it was an informal letter, but I have seen students being asked to write both semi-formal and formal letters. So it's a good idea to be prepared for all three. And preparation is not a big deal because you have been writing letters in your school life also. Informal letter can be to a friend or a family member. Semi-formal can be to your local RWA, to your local organizations, to maybe a local service center, right? And finally, the formal letters will be to your managers, to your boss, and might be an application or some work related matter, right? So these are things that are asked in the IELTS writing test. Now I'll show you some parameters which are to be considered when you're appearing, when you're trying or learning how to get better at IELTS writing. So think of it this way. Whenever you write something, you write it to convey a message. You write it for the reader, and that's all that matters. Your message should get across to the reader with the least obstructions possible. What do I mean by obstructions? Suppose if you are speaking to someone and you make some grammatical errors, you are not able to find the right words, you are not able to structure sentences properly, so your message will not get across as well as you want it to. And you might have to repeat it again and again to explain it. Similarly, in writing, when you are sharing your thoughts, you should take care of a few things. For example, task achievement. This implies that you are answering the question that is asked. You are not straying away from the topic, you are sticking to the point and being precise about it. You are achieving the task, right? Coherence and cohesion. This means that the ideas that you are presenting, the thoughts that you are sharing, they are structured logically. So if I start reading your essay or your write-up and I read the first paragraph, then I move on to the second, and then I move on to the third, I should not feel a disconnect between all those three. They should be structured in a logical, rational manner, right? It should not be that paragraph 1 is discussing something and paragraph 2 is a complete opposite. They should be structured logically. Then, third is lexical resource, which is also known as vocabulary. So, the words you use to share your thoughts, they should be legible, they should be easily understandable to the reader so that they don't get confused about what you're trying to say, and that's why they should be used in the right places. And finally, grammatical range and accuracy, how you are structuring your sentence, how you are using punctuations, using tenses, using small case and large case letters, all these things, right? So these four parameters are what matters when the examiner decides your writing score. So you should also consider them before you actually start writing. Now we'll go into a little more detail. So the students who score a band 9 in the writing test, that happens because they score a band 9 in all four parameters. Now, how does that happen? Someone who scores a band 9 is fully satisfying all the requirements of the task. So, whatever the question is asking, they have fully answered it in complete detail. They clearly present a fully developed response. So, their answer is not vague, it is fully understandable. Then, coherence and cohesion uses cohesion in such a way that it attracts no attention, and they skillfully manage the paraphrasing. So, by not attracting any attention, it means that when the examiner is reading their write up, they don't feel that there is a mismatch between two paragraphs, right? That's why there is no attention attracted. The examiner is able to analyze it effortlessly without stressing themselves on what the what the writer is trying to say. Lexical resource uses a wide range of vocabulary with very natural and sophisticated control. Now, what does this mean? Whatever words you are using, you know that you are using them in the correct place and they are making complete sense, right? You are not using heavy words or uncommon words for the sake of using them, but you really know how to use them. Rare minor errors occur only as slips. So only minor mistakes which are easily ignored. They are not attracting attention to the essay. Finally, grammatical range and accuracy uses a wide range of structures with full flexibility and accuracy. Rare minor errors occur, which are also known as slips. So full flexibility and accuracy, you know how to structure sentences, you know how to present your thoughts without making grammatical errors. So this is what we should always aim for. I'll also share what band 8 means. Someone who scores a band 8 in writing is covering all requirements of the task sufficiently. So this is sufficient, while band 9 it is full. Okay. Then they present, highlight, and illustrate key features or bullet points clearly and appropriately. So they are paying due attention to the points that are required and the points that need some explanation. Then coherence, they sequence information and ideas logically. They manage all aspects of cohesion well, and they use paragraphing sufficiently and appropriately. So of course, when you are writing at least 170 words, or when you are writing the essay, which is 270 words, it has to be divided into paragraphs. And those paragraphs, when they are studied as a whole, they should make sense to the examiner. Then for vocabulary, they use a wide range of vocabulary fluently and flexibility to convey precise meanings. They are exact with their words. They skillfully use uncommon lexical items, so words that are not used on a regular basis. For example, for being happy, you say ecstatic. So you try to use words which are not very common and you place them correctly in the sentences. One major doubt that students have, that they are not able to find better words or new words and they are not able to use them. So to help you, I'll suggest that you only should have around 20% of uncommon words in your whole essay. Only 20%. You don't have to insert a good word in every line. It should only be a small part of your entire essay, which is to show the examiner that you are comfortable with the language and with new words. That's it. That's it. They don't want you to use a whole lot of words. They just want that whatever words you are using them correctly. That's it. There may be occasional inaccuracies in word choice and collocation, and they produce rare errors in spelling and or word formation. So this is what we should always aspire for, to keep our writing as error-free as possible. And for grammar, they use a wide range of structures. Now structures, I'll suggest you go through what are different types of sentences. Simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. Understand what they are, what is the difference between them, and when you use them, you use connectors to connect two sentences, connect two ideas, you use punctuations correctly. So these are the things that matter in the grammatical accuracy. The majority of sentences are error-free, and you make only occasional errors or inappropriate usage of words. So that's about the parameters of the writing exam. Now, I'll also be sharing some samples with you in the course. So those samples will help you analyze and learn from the mistakes that others make. I'll share some samples of band 6.5, band 7, band 7.5 also, which will help you understand how to avoid mistakes that other students have been usually making. But for yourself, you should always learn from those who are scoring a band 9 or band 8 or 8.5, because they will be able to help you structure your sentences in the best manner possible and use uncommon words in the easiest or easily understandable way, which will help the examiner understand what you are trying to say, right? I'll reiterate my point that you write something for the reader. You don't write it for yourself. That is why whatever you write should be easily understandable and clear to the examiner. Okay. So now you can move on to the writing task 1, which will help you understand what to take care of, how to write a sentence, how to write a passage, and what things you should consider while structuring your ideas. So all those things will be explained in the task 1. And before that, it would be good if you try out a task by yourself and then get it checked by our team, so that you can understand what you need to work on, what are your weak areas, and where you make a mistake in the writing task, right? So get started with the writing preparation and keep trying one test every day. Thank you.